Now to the president's son, Hunter Biden. He's due to appear in federal court this morning to formally agree to a plea deal on tax and gun charges. Senior national correspondent Terry Moran is at the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. An extraordinary moment, really, here at 10 a.m. this morning in the federal courthouse behind me in Wilmington, Delaware. Hunter Biden in court pleading guilty to tax charges. It's a moment that's the culmination of a years-long federal investigation, a painful reminder of a dark chapter in the Biden family, and the latest scene in a lurid national scandal the Republicans promise is far from over. This morning, Hunter Biden's moment of truth in a federal courtroom where a judge will decide whether to accept the plea deal that the president's son has reached with prosecutors.
Hunter, how do you feel after taking the plea deal?
Last month, Hunter Biden agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and accept what's known as a pretrial diversion program for a felony count of illegal possession of a firearm. That means prosecutors will agree to drop the gun charge if Hunter abides by several conditions set by prosecutors, including staying clean, no illegal drug use. In exchange, the president's son will get probation and avoid prison time. There's also an 11th-hour dispute in this case, with the federal judge overseeing it threatening to sanction Hunter's legal team, writing that a staffer on the Biden legal team appears to have misrepresented her identity and who she worked for in order to get the clerk's office to remove Hunter's tax documents that were shared with the court by House Republicans. Hunter's team calling it all an unfortunate and unintentional miscommunication, including a sworn affidavit from that staffer. This morning's court appearance is already being slammed by Republican critics who have called the plea arrangement a sweetheart deal. But it was negotiated by the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss, who President Biden kept in his role to oversee the probe of his son. Weiss, along with Attorney General Merrick Garland, have told Congress that Weiss had final say in this case, writing last month he had ultimate authority over where, when, and whether to file charges.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth?
But 2 longtime tax investigators with the IRS testified last week that that wasn't true, alleging prosecutors did not appear to follow the normal investigative process.
It appeared to me, based on what I experienced, that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials.
So in response to those allegations, David Weiss, the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney in Delaware, has volunteered to come to Congress himself, take the oath, and testify about what happened in this investigation. And the Justice Department is offering 4 dates in the fall for that. But whatever happens with that, it's pretty clear the Republicans aim to keep this story in the spotlight right through the election.
No question. Okay, Terry, thanks very much. It's been our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, our senior congressional correspondent, Rachel Scott. Dan, the judge is going to prove this, right?
You would expect that would be the case. I mean, typically, for a low-level offenses like this, a judge would accept a plea deal. Because think about it. The 2 parties involved, the prosecution and the defense, have now agreed to what the outcome should be. Now, there are occasions when a judge will step in and say, this is not in the interest of justice. This is unfair in one way or another, and won't accept the deal. But I think that would be unlikely. Although you have others just asking for a delay, I also think that is unlikely. But look, when you throw in the name Hunter Biden, all the typical rules are off the table, and you never know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, and Rachel, what's happening at the White House today around this?
Well, amid controversy and scandal, President Biden is continuing to stand by his son. He has repeatedly said that he is proud of him, even saying that he has done nothing wrong. Of course, Hunter Biden is set to plead guilty today to those tax charges. The White House declining to comment any further on this, but over on Capitol Hill, Republicans are making it clear they are not satisfied. They are calling on the judge to block that plea deal, insisting they will continue on with their investigations into claims that the president has used his political career to personally benefit, enrich, and protect his family. So far, they have been not able to prove any evidence here of wrongdoing. But Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, under immense pressure from the far right of his party, is now floating an impeachment inquiry, saying that is on the table. He's given no firm timeline on this. The House is set to go on recess in just a few days. But still, this is notable, George. It's the furthest that Speaker McCarthy has gone on this issue.
It is. And Dan, this idea that this is a sweetheart deal?
tough argument to make legally. If you take the politics out of it entirely, you just talk to lawyers who deal with the tax cases, or you look at the particular gun charge, they will tell you that it is a tough argument to make that somehow he's getting a particularly good deal here. Some would even say he wouldn't have been charged at all if he hadn't been Hunter Biden.
Dan Abrams, Rachel Scott, thanks very much. And we'll have live coverage on ABC after the conclusion of the court appearance today.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.